Okay, everyone, here's another craft lesson, this time on painting with adjectives shifted out of order, okay? So we're going to talk about what that means, but just a quick reminder, remember all of this is geared toward fulfilling the requirement within the memoir rubric about the craft lessons. Please make sure you look at that, pay attention to that. If they're not there, again, you'll lose points for that category, and it's pretty significant. So please make sure you pay attention to that. Alright, so anyway, the whole idea of this is to give you tools that you can use. Think of them as tools in a toolbox, or think of them as ingredients in cooking, whatever you want to think of them as. But the whole point of this is to give you something that you can easily plug into your writing and improve it instantly, okay? We'll talk more about that in a second. But as far as this is concerned, this technique, the whole idea is you're leaving one adjective in its original place. This part is actually, it could be optional, so it's kind of up to you. But the authors shift two adjectives out of order, okay? So the adjectives will then move after the word they are describing. So this is not the common construction in our language, and that's what makes this whole thing significant. So here's an example of what I'm talking about. The large bull moose, red-eyed and angry, charged the intruder. If you notice there, what that does is it gives us just a shift in the rhythm of the sentence, and that's really the power of this. That's the beauty of this, and that's why authors use this, professional writers use this. If you just read it like if I said the large bull moose, if I said the large red-eyed and angry bull moose charged the intruder, there's really no shift in that rhythm, and so it's not as interesting of a sentence as it would be to do this technique. So the whole idea is to create a spotlight and intensify the image that you're writing about. So you want to save this for things that are really important within the writing if you're really trying to draw the attention of the reader, giving it a profound rhythm instead of the elementary cadence or rhythm of the original. So I've got a couple of practice examples here for this one as well. We'll talk more about a couple of things that you really need to pay attention with this, but I'm just going to do these with you. It says, the woman, blank and blank, smiled upon her newborn grandson with pride. So we need to think about something that would fit this sentence. So maybe we could say, let's imagine that she is excited about having a new grandson. So that would be an adjective, all right? And let's maybe say joyful. That's another good adjective here. And again, this is just very basic. It's not meant to be anything crazy. Let's just look at how this sounds now. The woman, excited and joyful, smiled upon her newborn grandson with pride. So think about how much better or how much more interesting that sentence is than if I said the excited and joyful woman smiled upon her. You see, it's just not as, it doesn't have that extra little pop of interest there. Let's do the next one here. It says, the boxer blank and blank felt no compassion for his contender. So let's again just do a couple of quick examples. I could say the boxer violent and maybe hateful. Let's just say he's a bad person. All right, the boxer violent and hateful felt no compassion for his contender. So you can see that also it makes sense and it works, and so it's good. All right. So let me give you a couple of cautions with this before I close. This is a very short lesson, but it's one that can be very helpful to you if you actually use it. But there's two things that you really need to pay attention to. First thing, do not overuse. Okay, do not overuse this technique. Okay, this is not something that you're going to want to use in every paragraph of your paper. It's not something you're going to want to use repeatedly. This is something that you might use one or two times for a paper of this length. Okay, so maybe one or two times for a paper of this length. That's the first thing. So do not overuse this. The second thing is do it correctly. Okay. It doesn't have, it ends up actually costing you some points here in terms of grammar if you're not doing this correctly. Pay attention to what I'm circling here, these commas. You have to punctuate this right, okay? You completely blow it if you don't punctuate this correctly. Alright, so you have to be kind of careful with that and make sure that you create that parenthetical comma there for this adjective phrase, because we're shifting it out of order, so it's not working like normal adjectives that wouldn't require punctuation to set them off. But here we need it because we're inserting this sort of adjective phrase out of order, and so that's a visual cue to the reader as you're reading that we have to change our rhythm a little bit as we're reading. So you can hear the pause. The woman, excited and joyful, smiled upon her newborn grandson with pride. So we have a pause here and we have a pause here when we read that sentence, and that's where this comes from anyway. And so you can see also why it wouldn't be good to overuse this, because if you use it too many times, it's just going to come across really strange, and the cadence, it loses the whole value. The whole point is to use it in a way that's going to catch the reader's attention. If you do it 10 times, it becomes old, it becomes boring, it becomes complacent. So, think of it, if you want to think of it like a tool, you can. It's one that you can easily use in that way. If you want to think of it as like an ingredient in cooking, that's fine as well. But just like certain ingredients in cooking, we don't want to overuse them, okay? We want to use them for added emphasis in certain ways to help create something that's better for whoever is enjoying it, okay? So, if you have any questions about this, please let me know. Again, make sure that you use this at some point in your writing. I'm going to be looking to see that you've done this at least one time within your paper. All right, thank you.